Hi everyone, welcome back to Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. Nice intro to Wilies Fortress there. Starting us right off with the Yoku blocks, huh? As well as these trapdoor platforms for Mega Man 3. Ultimately a short level, though. As we're at the boss already. We got us a giant Susie. The ones from Mega Man 1. Gets a little unpredictable with its movements sometimes, but not too bad. And guess what? That was the level. Because now, we have our second wave of Robot Masters. These ones from Mega Man 4. Dive Man, Skull Man, Drill Man, and Dust Man. I tend to start with Dive Man on this one. Mostly due to I prefer going into Dust Man's level with the Drill Bomb. This is also the point of the game where the levels start getting pretty hellacious. What is going on here? Sometimes he wants to jump when I want to slide, and that's going to cost me when we start getting into this area with all these spikes. Deal with Moby the same way as before. Also worth noting out is that none of the second wave of Robot Masters seem to be weak to any of the weapons from the ones we got in the first wave. So again, there's probably no really good starting point anyways. Which is weird, because actually I would expect Dive Man to be weak to the Spark Shock. Or Dust Man to be weak to Shadow Blades, for that matter, since it behaves similar to the Ring Boomerang, his weakness from Mega Man 4. Spark Shock in action. Can stun those Jumbigs. Makes them easy to deal with. And now they start adding the Mantens to the mix. And despite not looking like much, they deal a ton of damage. Thanks for nothing, Eddie. This segment adds the rising and falling water. Case in point. And they take multiple hits, too. But yeah, this segment makes it worse because of all the spikes it adds to it. Actually, I think the explosions from those mines deal less damage. Okay. Dive Man is a bit harder to beat Buster only in this one, mostly due to just how much slower everything is. There we go. We got him. Dive Missile's still a really nice weapon. So Drill Man's next up. His level, I think, gives us a bit of a break. Oh, nice that they put the Hammer Joes in this level. I don't know, I guess I just like it when the Game Boy games mix up the which games they're from. Like in this case, putting Mega Man 3 enemies in a Mega Man 4 Robot Master level. But yeah, because of the draw distance, those you kind of have to be extra careful when it comes to those shield attackers. Sometimes just fly and hit you out of nowhere if you don't know they're coming. This is a little tricky, but just use Rush. Again, bit of a risky reward there going. Again, just use Rush Jet or Rush Coil though. How many times are we going to confuse Rush Coil with Rush Jet? I mean, seriously. Now, I would prefer. Ideally, the Skull Barrier would be nice to have for the falling rocks. But I think I'll manage. And we got another segment of these guys. Alright, Drill Man. Heal him mostly the same way as before. Again, we want to try to end this fight quickly, though, because of just... bastard. Because, again, cramped quarters combined with how much damage both him and his drill bombs deal. And he's not digging underground as much as he usually does. He is just... Damn, he's just going all out there. But now we got the drill bomb. I always thought that was a pretty sweet weapon. Okay, the level I've been dreading. Another reason I start with Dive Man is because maybe it's just me putting off this level. There we go. There are so many. I'm not sure. I don't want to be the kind of guy who just blames bad level design for everything. You know, the game's hard, so it was just due to bad level design, but this is one of those cases where, at least for a standard Robot Master level, they just put so many cheap death traps in this level. More so than Wilies Fortress, I think. We haven't gotten to the really bad stuff yet. We have a lot of these where, like how I pointed out before, like almost pixel perfect. You have to hit those jumps, and then they're real sons of bitches by adding up and downs to it. And we're going to have more jumps like that coming up. Case in point, another one right here. Okay, I was concerned for a second that I was still too far back. Just like in its NES level, we have the masher section. Will you shoot that out? Thank you. Sometimes it gets to the point where, yeah, I'll just use Rush Coil as insurance. Try to get Rush. There we go. Yes, a 1-up, and here's where I like having the drill bomb. Get rid of that, just to get us past a couple of tricky jumps there. Very similar jumps here too. It doesn't look like it, but it's easy to hit your head if you mistime those jumps. Hit your head on the ceiling and fall into the spikes. Okay, the asshole room. Not sure I trust placement here. Okay, made it. Requires some really perfect placement of rush coil to get across that. Okay, we're just about there. Alright, made it through that hellhole. Thankfully I didn't lose any lives. Amazingly. Didn't lose any lives yet except for, except against Drillman. At least after his level, Dustman's not too difficult. I say that right before I get hit by... He's weak to drill bombs this time, as you can see. So we should stop jumping over them. Alright. There's that stage down. And now we get Rush Jet. Of course, after beating the level, it would have been the most useful in. And that just leaves us with Skullman. Again, after doing Dustman's stage, his feels like a breather. Nice touch how they have those rib bones for spikes there. Now. What? You're full of crap. Should totally have slid under him. Thank you, Eddie. Well, now's a good time to get out the Rush Jet. After the game-breaking Rush Jet from Mega Man 3 that they used in the second Game Boy game, they really nerfed it in this one. You can't even control it at all. It's basically item 2. But it still has its uses, I would say. Like I said, you just can't control it vertically at all anymore. more levels we can break down with the drill bomb. Another reason I like to beat Drill Man before we enter these stages. Pretty neat section here near the end with all the flashing bones in the background there. You know, the weapon selection can be a little confusing because if you note, we got 3 robot masters that start with an S. Well, 4 after we have Skullman, and then 3 that start with a D. So picking out their weapon can sometimes you have to look a little more closely. Man, Skullman is really defensive this time. Oh well, didn't save you. Skull Barrier got buffed too. It can actually absorb up to 3 projectiles. It still absorbs 1 direct hit from enemies, but it can absorb up to 3 projectiles, which makes it quite a bit more useful. Alright, so that's the second wave of Robot Masters down. Next time we'll head out and take care of Dr. Wily. See you guys later.
I'm playing a game.